Start streaming on YouTube, start streaming on Twitch. Completely forgot to open Twitch. God dang. Shit. Whoops. Interesting though, I can stream on Twitch without having it open on my Alright guys, hot second please. I need to update. Hi, how are you doing down there? Need to quickly update the title of that thing. Hey, come on. There we go. YouTube has done some funky redesigns over the last couple of days. Really not liking that too much. What the fuck is that music? What? That's not even what I... Okay. Horrible start to the stream. But hopefully we'll be able to pull ourselves up after these first few hiccups. Now, Brink of Art is now designing Stormcast Eternals. Right. So, back to the stream. Thank you to everybody who is currently joining. It's a rough start, that's for sure. Hello to Matt from Pressburg, who is already here. Glad to have you here already. Now I only need to make sure everything works. Alright! Today, as in the last stream, I had some people saying, hey, you know, talking about Stormcast Eternals, there are some things that, you know, some people would like to have changed or see differently, as the Stormcast Eternals, as they are looking now, do have that hint of medieval armor, but not quite. There are a lot of elements. Let's just pull one up, right? Let's take the classic Stormcast Eternal. This is official concept art by Games Workshop. So, the classic Stormcast Eternal does have some hints of medieval armor on himself, like the, hang on. Like, of course, the leg armor, you know, the segmented armor, the gauntlets, of course, another big hint. But there is some weird stuff going on with the chest plate, where it is very reminiscent of like ancient Greek armor, the Lorica musculata from the Roman era, the early Roman era, I think. And it's all a little bit wishy-washy. You can see even more Roman influences in the Baltea down here. So, yeah, not quite sure what's really happening there. Of course, they're trying to not just, you know, take historical... This is not supposed to be historically accurate at all, and that's also not my criticism. But what some people have said is that they would like to see if there's a possibility of maybe redesigning, revamping the Stormcast Eternals to look more maybe like they've taken the inspiration from the late medieval period. So we're looking for Gothic armor, we're looking for something more akin to what you can see in this picture. So a proper knight with, you know, segmented tassets, with, I don't know, with of course a different style of helmet, all of that. Maybe more late medieval gear as well. Yeah. Illuna says, hello there! And there is the culprit. I think it was Illunas who asked to see me trying to redesign the Stormcast Eternals. Not quite sure though. Yep. Bingo. There we go. Alright. Yeah, you know, this Thursday was a great opportunity. I thought, why not? I hope on the audio level side everything is alright, because something weird is happening here. Again, YouTube has done some funky redesigns with its, with basically everything. YouTube hit this stream for 3 minutes. Oh no, that's fine. Diary says, problem is the Stormcasts are designed to be painted in all colors, including super vibrant ones. I'm not sure if that's actually a problem. I think you could do this... let's pull up the knight again. You know, a knight in blue armor still would work, which would look good on later armor. I actually disagree, because a lot of historical knights actually had their armor painted very vibrantly, or were wearing like some sort of, let's say, you know, a tabard. So this knight is of course wearing his tabard. Hang on, let me actually take a color that's closer to what this knight is actually wearing. You know, like this. And oh, come on, should have painted it on a different thing. So that's of course, you know, a little bit of cheating. You know, I'm painting not the armor itself, but I'm giving him a colorful tabard. But I think, again, a lot of historical knights did paint and lack their armor as well. So, yeah. Blue armor is French, it's not good. They would bring the white flag to the sword fight. Ay. Haven't you? Don't let me tap the sign, no politics. Just kidding. Alright, what I wanna try today though is if it's even possible to do a proper redesign. I'm not I'm not a professional concept art designer, I'm just an, you know, washed up illustration student. So what the fuck do I know? This is by in no means a criticism to the way that Games Workshop is doing stuff. Or rather the designers at Games Workshop. It's just a little bit of a thought experiment, right? So yeah. Where do we start? I think we start with some proportions, just some proportions. The funny thing about concept art is that you kinda have to be quick with it. The idea is that you, you know, don't give yourself enough time to doubt your own designs and basically stand in the way of yourself, but just rather let the brush speak, let the imagination flow, and yeah, see just what comes out. And you know, you try to basically do as many designs as possible in a very short time to give yourself, or you know, an eventual client, the you know, the room to choose, look for, you know, cherry pick different ideas and stuff like that. Let's do the foot like that. I'm going to be very quick here, and that's why I like doing these design streams on stream. Design streams live as well, because you know, I don't want to bore you guys contemplating a sketch for too long. So that's actually, you know, the last thing that I want to do. Starting with some sort of, you know, a little bit of a T-pose here to give him the clothing that we want. And after that we can see. Yeah. This stream was a little bit more on the spontaneous side. I did think of, you know, I said in the last stream that I would update you guys in the community tab. Didn't do that. Whoops. Didn't do that. Simply because it was a rather spontaneous decision. And that looks a little weird. Hang on. You know, why not take advantage of all the wonders of digital art? But the classic Milanese breastplate from 1460s would do better than the bra they have. Well, yeah, I'm very interested. I think the most significant difference will be in the chestplate area, right? Because all of the other stuff, again, the legs, the arms, already is very reminiscent of very historical medieval armor. So, I don't think we're going to see that big of a difference there. I also have a nice book right here. This very thick historical weapons and arms. Hang on, can you guys see that? Oh yeah, there we go. By Liliane and Fred Funken, covering the 8th till 16th century. And yeah, first page already a banger, as you can see. Very colorfully painted armor, very intriguing armor. of course, as well. But we don't want to go too late, right? We don't want to go to the Conquistador era. We still want to be in the late medieval ages, where there aren't that many gunpowder weapons around. Got some real life photo, that would be nice. Can I send it links, or I need to send via email? Here, unfortunately, need to send via email. Simply because YouTube auto modding. I have to remember that you guys aren't up there anymore, but you're down there. Because YouTube auto like modding bans all links. But yeah, this is roughly the guy that we're working with. Let me reduce that real quick. And then I think I want to try out a round breastplate first, so a very bulky one. Of course, these guys are also, you know, designed to look like juggernauts. So I'm very intrigued to see if, as we're trying to stay true to, you know, more late medieval stuff, that we can do that. We need that Discord. Yeah, we definitely do. I'm sorry. There we go. And again, the whole thought, the whole reasoning behind this is, of course, the fact that we don't want to end up with just some, you know, a historically accurate. Give them medieval Saturnine armor. That will look kind of sick. Hang on. That's a great call. Let's do that for our first fucking design. Let's the pauldrons. Let's just try to find some historical. I think. Ooh, I found a sick fucking design. We'll try that one next. But I think the first pauldrons we can actually do, if we want to try to emulate the Saturnine look, we should look for pauldrons that were used in jousting. Holy shit, there are some sick designs going on. Let me quickly look. Unfortunately, the book is made to basically start with armor, then cover weapons, then cover like battlements and stuff. So fortresses and all of that good stuff, and castles. And then go back to armor, so I have to. There's actually quite a little bit of, you know, moving through the pages. Well, they actually discuss tactics as well. Didn't know. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's try that. Let's give him a pauldron, like they would have done in jousting. So a very big, waved pauldron. I'm of course a little bit exaggerating here, but only a little bit. So like this, down, down, and then some like this. This is like actual steel plate that we're seeing here. Some steel ridges. And Illuna says send something. For the helmet I would personally choose a bassinet. And the shoulder pads need to be removed for something not bulky. No, we're starting with a very bulky design and like a very bulky helmet as well. Because why the hell not, right? Of course, these kind of, you know, pauldrons are used in jousting, so you really only need one side. Hence, this guy won't be sitting on a horse, though. I think I'm gonna go with the other example that I see here and just raise up the neck till here, close it off, walk all the way down the curve of his armor, then come back around and close it off like this. Yeah, bassinet sounds great. I mean, it was your idea, of course. I think. Oh no, that's Matt who said that. You can just put their gap protecting shield used on knights from the 1580s. I mean, again, you know, the Bazagu, of course. That would also be in theme with James's design, James Workshops. There are a lot of ideas that we can play around with today. Let me quickly shake that in a little bit. Same with this. Alright. How far does this go up? So this actually closes off here. I'm not gonna do that. Need the chest plate. Clean that up just a little bit. And then we want to go to the arm plate armor. Or do we? Nah. We first want to do, I think some tassets would be nice. For the tassets, I think, you know, this Stormcast doesn't have them. The newer Stormcasts do. Love the Italian concept of the right pauldron being bigger since it's the side you're expected to face the enemy. Yeah, definitely. And again, you know, this design that I'm doing here is, again, you know, from what you would wear to a joust. Though only like one of the two, right? But we're going to be a little bit ridiculous. And in terms of tassets, why don't we use the style of tassets that they used in the later medieval period? Get this down all the way down here. Link it up together with the knee buckle. And then we have the entire fucking leg just encased in steel. From only one way, of course. Some padding down there, of course. Yeah, link to the knee buckle. So actually that ridge wouldn't make much sense. Down here. Big knee buckle. And of course closing that off here. And then we'll just give him regular greaves. Sit atop his foot. Resting atop his foot. And of course a fully plated, you know, foot armor as well. I'm a little bit less eloquent today as I usually am, because it's been quite a long time that I've learned all of these specific words for armor, especially in English, so yeah. That being said, I definitely do want this part to be a little bit bigger, like this. Again, we're trying to design a fucking juggernaut here. After that, what do we want to do? I think the other side. The other side, I think, should just get a regular tasset. I already painted his leg in that way. And then we're just gonna go with some regular armor. Of course, the armor designs that we'll try to come up with today are going to be insane by any historical means. But, you know, the average historical knight did not need to face orcs or undead like crazy people, right? So I think it's fair of us to give these guys some leniency there. Completely encased. And then we'll do the same with his feet, basically. Alright, very, very derpy. Holy shit. One of the things I dislike about the Stormcast is the, well, World of Warcraft concept of super bulky armor instead of using a better magical metal, since AOS is highly fantasy drowned in magic. I don't actually think that they're trying to copy WoW here. I think they're trying to lean heavily on the Space Marine concept, right, to try to bring those closer together, because of just how damn successful the Space Marines are, right? Then we have, I would love to have more perspectives. I'll check your email out in a hot second. I think I'll give him a rather large protective shell, I think it's called. mounted to his armor. His armor. And then some very... We'll go, as this guy is like super bulky anyways, I'll just give him Fäustlinge. Panzerfäustlinge. And of course, you know, going like this. And I'll even go with like the... like very similar to here, basically, to this one. With the difference that, you know, this is one piece and this is another piece. That's basically what I'm going for here. For the weapon that would do much, Falchion or Fogewood, Majakovsky or Oakshot type XV111C. True about the SM design, but the WoW aesthetic is almost the same. No, it is. It definitely is. It definitely is. As a WoW player myself, ex-WoW player, you know, I definitely see that. Hang on. Don't need to go too crazy. And the other arm, I think we should focus more on, like, maybe movability, movement, flexibility. That's what I'm looking for, in a word. Then we leave that one exposed, because why not? Sigma has to save cost somewhere. But then we'll do it just like the other one. Alright. And as for the helmet, I think we should go with an incredibly, again, as everything is oriented at the jousting armor anyways, why not stick with it? So I want to have actually like a beard down here, basically. And then just a huge... This guy looks so fucking cool. Incredible helmet. Just up here, like a real Topfhelm. Hell yeah. Oh, we're cooking. Hang on, this is actually too open. We want to have that down a lot more like this. Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Frogmouth? Oh yeah, yeah. It's that one, yeah. It's in German it's called a Stechhelm. No, I'm looking for a Stechhelm. I think the Frogmouth is something else. Don't worry, in full Italian 1420s heavy armor set, you have extreme mobility. I have such set. Only the weight limits you. why is his arm so long? You mean this one right here? Yeah, I kind of messed up the proportions. Hang on. I think I'll try to resize him from down here. Hang on, that's the wrong layer. Oops. So the elbow is supposed to be up here, right? Yeah. Oh, the other arm's also a little bit long. Hang on. Maybe chop that down a little more. Ah, come on! Would shrink the helmet a bit? Maybe. I think if we just elongate the entire thing, you know? I think that would work out as well. He looks a little bit derpy. He looks like a kid in armor, right? So, and then of course we want him to be a bit bulkier. Yeah! Hell yeah! Okay, this looks hella derpy, holy shit. Okay, where did we go wrong? I think there's a lot more, or do a little more excessive and make the rest bigger. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's just try rendering this guy. I'm gonna try to reduce the entire armor set and then just render it very roughly. Oops, hey. Am I on the right? Yeah, I am. So, and then of course, Heinrich did speak some facts when he said that, proper medieval armor, of course, is a little bit harder to paint very vibrantly. The Space Marine tactical armor, of course, makes everything a little bit easier in that regard. Though, I think that should be our last task of the day then. Once we've got a few concepts down, to just try and paint them. Right. So, try that. I think I do need to get his arm a little bit closer to the rest of his body though. More like this, maybe. Maybe. Matt says, well, you don't need to paint the steel. Most Knight had overcoats, tabards, gambesons over steel. Yeah, but that's true. That's 100% true. I'm just thinking about what Heinrich said in terms of, if a designer were to get this design to Games Workshop, they would of course have to defend it against, like, criticisms of, hey, can our guys even paint them that much? Like, how much fun is the armor to paint? Because of course, this guy gives like loads of opportunities to put paint down. Shadiversity has a video on that. Yeah. On the tabards, really? Oh. I have stopped watching Shadiversity a very long time ago. And that although he was like one of my main inspirations to start my own YouTube channel as well. One of his like more motivational videos reached me in a time where I was very like down in the middle of COVID. But yeah, he started to go more in the direction of like armor and not armor necessarily, but like weapons and stuff. And that really wasn't my cup of tea. I really liked his architectural digest videos basically a lot more. And then of course, I don't know how much validity really is behind his claims that YouTube is trying to shut down his channel, all of that talk. But I'm gonna be real, not to try to throw any shade on Shat, because again, he's one of my main inspirations and a great guy. But that to me sounded just like a little whiny. I think if YouTube is giving your channel a little bit less of a reach, that just means maybe you have to change a little bit of the content. I don't know. I follow him forever. He had like about 80k subs. Oh yeah, I've been following him for a very long time as well. Now I unsubbed though. Main reason being that his more modern content wasn't for me anymore. I visit his older videos every now and then though. Yo, designing time? Oh yeah. Time to design a late medieval Stormcast Eternal. Join us in making a fool of ourselves. Delusions of grandeur that whatever we're cooking up today could even come close to what the professionals at GW cooked up. But again, I will try, and it's a fun exercise. So this is where we are right now. Looks a little derpy. Of course, just bring in some shadow. Oh. Oh. Not true. It can't be worse than the AOS Stormcast. I don't think so. I think they, they do their job. I just think they are maybe a little bit undercooked, because some of their designs actually go quite hard. I think my favorite Stormcast model so far definitely is Iridan the Witness and what they did with him. So there's definitely great potential for the Stormcast Eternals. I just don't know if they, can realize that. I tip my hat to you artists, I can never get the proportions right myself. I mean, would you say that these are the right proportions? I don't know, man. But thank you very much nonetheless. So... And of course, all art is mostly a craft like any else. Like woodworking, for example. So, if you have time to practice, then everything will come to you. That being said, I'm in a very privileged position where I actually have, like, the time to practice in the first place. Okay, there we go. Best Stormcast is Industra. What's up, nobody? Industra is also very cool, but you can already see, like, in her design that she comes from a little bit, like, the designers had a little bit of a different thing in mind with her. Even her, like, color palette and everything is slightly different to that of the regular Stormcast, which I find to be rather interesting. Oh, hang on, I need to put that over here. No. That over there. That over there. That over there. Yeah, roughly. Okay. Well... I think we've fallen a little bit into a trap that this guy just looks... he still looks too close to a historical design. Yes, but Iridan doesn't have the wonky AOS stuff. Yeah, I mean, he's got a chainmail hood, right? There is still some wonky AOS stuff going on. I think his griffin is also carrying him. But yeah, just something... Also, the Industrial doesn't suffer from the bulk stuff. Yeah, you're right with that as well. Maybe we can actually shape this guy a little bit less bulky. Let's try that. Let's consolidate a little more. Shove that over here. I think we should get away from the asymmetry and try to get more symmetry going on. I think the Stechhelm does something. I'm not quite sure if I like it though. Maybe I think. Maybe it's actually more like this. Hang on. Oh no, hang on. It's not bulky enough. Lighten the contrast a little bit here. Also try adding some ridges on the left arm. Oh yeah, hang on. We can do that. As this of course, we need to do the right arm as well. So these are ridges in the steel they're supposed to be. There we go. And just very small, just paint the same lines. to get the line out at the same time. I don't do that too often, but sometimes it's, you know, quite a nice trick. Here we go. Just some detailing to get some more attention to this guy. A little bit sharper lines. There we go. Already made a huge difference, right? Nice. Intensify the... Whoops. That's a little bit too intense. Intensify the contrast over here. Then go like this. And fill that out. Because I remember I wanted this to be a little bit bigger. And there we go. Oops. It's very interesting to do this while not having, you know, all the time that I can usually take for these kind of concept designs and stuff. There's the padding below his plate. And there we go, like roughly like this. Get more contrast going on his hand plates, on his gauntlets. Yeah. Right. Now I think the last thing I'll do before we'll move on to a different design, where we'll basically start off over, is I wanna give the tassets some more detail. The tassets and maybe one of his shoulder plates as well. Like the other pauldron. So we can actually see what kind of shapes we actually wanted. And of course the link up here is a little bit wonky. I don't remember really how it worked. But it's not like... So it's... This is supposed to be one piece. It's not like the knee is separated from the tasset. I think the best fantasy steel heavy armor Gondor, and is based on real historical parts. Gondor. I definitely get what you mean. I personally didn't like them, but more from a like aesthetics kind of viewpoint. But that was because they were in the same movie as Rohan, and I think the Rohan aesthetic as a whole just clears most of the rest of the movie. Weta Workshop did a dang good job with them. There we go. And then I'll just a little more... Oops. That's too broad. I want to do one more ridge up here. Just like we did on the pauldron before. Peak low-tier armor design is the Gondor Tower Guard. You think so? I mean, okay, the Tower Guard actually does look good. For me, peak armor design in Lord of the Rings is Rohan. You could say it's rather simplistic and it's not, maybe not the most inspired look, but it's still great nonetheless. Right, working some light reflections. And there we go. So that's all clear. And of course this pauldron over here. Unfortunately I only have the one look. How does this actually look like? So there's not supposed to be... Hang on, let's do this completely flat again. Because I'm confused by the shadow it currently has. I'm not pretty sure it's not supposed to look like that. This looks more like it. Then we'll pull this down a little more. Up here. Around there. It's basically a steel cowl if you want. And then pull this down more. And now we work in the shadow completely anew. So we have this part. It's like completely in the shadow. Again, we need to emphasize that this is one rigid plate instead of a plate that goes inward or, you know, has any kind of wobbly stuff going on like the other pauldron did. Need to shade it like this, I think. And then maybe a little bit here. Yeah. Okay. And then... So the original goes a little bit further. It goes like till here. We can do that. I've got no problem with that. Oh, hang on. And then we'll do like this. Okay. Try to move the left pauldron a bit to the left more for head movement flexibility. You mean this one? No. And, I mean, because this thing is like already so incredibly stiff, I don't really think we're gaining much more mobility with this guy. Especially not because this beard should probably also be extended to all the way down here. Bit more shade. Yeah, so see, this entire thing is like one rigid piece. I'm pretty sure like the Stormcast can't even see anyways. And this arm needs to be a bit bulkier. Again, we're talking about a Stormcast Eternal here. Same with probably his thigh. At least this one. There we go. Alright. He looks a little bit wonky. Hang on. I think I can fix that. Just take his knee, rotate it around a little bit like this. Actually, I'll put it on a separate layer to be really sure. Take the rest of his leg. That's the wrong layer. Take the rest of his leg. Let's move it. This way he stands a lot more firmly. Reduce. Yeah. Trying some lightning bolts on the pauldron, that's more in line with GW design style. Oh yeah, you mean the... Oh yeah, how would we do the iconography? I think that's a question for later. Next design. And I actually do want to fix some stuff about the guy I sketched up before. Hang on. Hang on. His... Yeah? I think we need to actually elongate him even more. At least his legs. His legs need to be elongated. Every time I say the word elongate, I need to think about the meme with Elon Musk, where people basically realize that the name Elon Musk can be found in the word elongated musket. Which to me is hilarious. He also shouldn't stand so... He needs to stand firmer. Like this. Ah! Yes! I'm a warrior! Okay. Oh shit! Checking for the first time, Moo Z666. This is brave, GW does a pretty good job I will say, but to each their own I guess. Hey man, thanks for checking around. Yeah, again, you know, this is mostly an attempt anyways. Take inspiration from Cataphracts. Ooh, that's also a great idea. Got an idea for a more interesting pose? Oh yeah? Hang on, where's my phone? I'd like to check out the email that you sent me. Oh, I'll be right back. There we go. So, you sent me an email. 2. What is this? Ah. So this is more Milanese armor. And this is... Ah, I see. Yeah. 3? You sent me 3 emails? There are only 2 here. Or is the other one very recent? Oh no, there's the rest. Okay, the pose. Yeah, sure. Hang on. Let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's make him stand a lot more heroically. And then we'll take, oops, 8. Take this arm. I really like doing these sort of sketches with, like, you know, completely digitally, because it is just so much easier. Any mistake that you do, anything that you're like unhappy with, can change so easily. As you can see, I make heavy use of that freedom. And then we'll make this arm actually... I mean, that can kind of stay like it is. Alright. In terms of the armor, what did you send me? So these are just some regular cuirasses, alright. And of course some, ooh yeah, the ornamental pauldron, that's also of course a great idea. For this one I still want to stick to the Juggernaut design though. And there is something that I've seen here in my book that looks insane. Hang on. Let me quickly sketch that in. Oh yeah, I need to go on a different layer for that. So we've got basically what we have. Again, this is completely just oriented, you know, closer to the jousting again. To the jousting style armor. He also looks kind of like a dwarf, with that small of a chest. Wrong layer. Let me quickly fix that. We want him to be bulky, but he needs to also be a little bit, you know, bigger. Alright. He has very long legs, holy shit. Not having a good day with the proportions today. Whoops. Alright. How do I go about this? So this is the helmet, basically. Going like this. This is all in the front. Then it wraps around like this. Oh, so it doesn't even go over the shoulder. Okay. Like this. This is all front plate. Then there's a very sharp cut as like part of his cuirass. Then basically here is the face guard. going down like this, up here, and even more protecting his helmet. Like even more emphasis on the right side. If you enlarge the chest, that would be more in line with the JW scale. I think so too, right? Hang on, I'll pull that entire thing. Oops, hang on. Up. Hey, am I still on the right layer? No. Pull the entire thing down a little bit. Like actually pull it down. This seems to look like the Inquisition. Yeah, kinda, right? Then, surprisingly, the rest of the helmet seems to be a very normal, like, maybe half helmet or something. And there we go. Let's close that one up. Of course, give him a nice, like, ridge. Maybe a little bit too, yeah, like this. Am I on the right layer? Yeah, okay. Just need to check. A barbute? Oh, what was a no, it's not a barbute, no. It's a classic, what's it called? A visor helmet, you know, just a regular visor helmet. And then, we're not quite done yet. This piece, so this piece extends all the way down to his what's it called? Taille. Then goes up here. Then it's completely covered up by the armor. But I'm guessing it goes around like this. And then this. So this is the shoulder pad, basically. So far, excluding the helmet, we have drawn two pieces. This and this. This is one piece, and this is the other piece. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. Alright. Crazy armor design for the type of lord who wants to participate in sport, but doesn't want to risk his life for it. Something I can get fully behind. Alright. Then we've got like some regular armor. I can't find, for the life of me, in my library of knowledge, the proper name for it. Like in German it would be Kacheln, right? Well, now you made an armet. Oh yeah, okay. Fair enough. Then we get like the regular pauldron, very stiff. No, not stiff, very unelegant. Give him like a clenched fist or something. And then just close it up for now like this, basically. Okay. The rest of the armor also looks, so he would also have... I mean, in the original there's this thorn right here, which if I remember correctly is for resting your lance or your shield while jousting. We don't need that. We don't want to go too close to that design. You know, it needs to make at least somewhat sense, right? And then we go to the armor of the left hand, which is even crazier than before. So we go like this. This entire thing is another piece of just hammered steel going up like this on the arm. It's basically folded steel. And then around back here, roughly like this. Matt says, yo, what's up, bro, as well? Had to leave for a short while. Alright, nice to see you back here. There's some... Okay, this I think is the last armor design that I will try to... that I will copy from Jousting. Because I think this just goes too far. I thought these looked kinda hard, and I think they still do. They kinda do still. But it's just so impractical for actual like foot soldier armor, foot knight armor. I'm also a big fan of like big knee plates. So let's do that as well. Down like this. Some tassets, because why not? Well, no, let's stay with the asymmetry. Let's do only one side tasset. Greaves, of course. Can't miss those. Resting atop the foot. And then armored feet, of course. Of course! Then, because I'm a little bit lazy and I think this design is actually not going anywhere, I'm going to duplicate it, mirror it, there we go. And then, do we want to give his other side? No, I don't think so. Let's just hang it up here. Like straight from the belt, straight from the armor. And for his right hand, I again want to give him a... Cuffling is the wrong word, but like a Faust. A Fäustling! Right. Okay. A mitten! Bingo! Yes, thank you. Couldn't remember the word just now. Thank you. So what are we designing? A specific piece, or is this just research? No, we're actually trying to redesign the Stormcast Eternal with more of a medieval, like late medieval approach than the wishy-washy stuff that Games Workshop has going on. Wishy-washy in this case means they actually have fantasy? Yeah. They actually have some fantasy and like own vision for their piece. No. We want it to be bulkier. Not a Panzerkitsune, but a Panzermitten. Oh yeah. Faustchen. Is it called? Nah, no way, it's Faustchen in English. That would be too close to the original. Again, another quick render. Just to get this one done and get some details in. There are definitely some pieces that I like from this design. I am again a big fan of the Juggernaut helmets that our two designs had so far, but I'm not 100% on board with the rest. Again, with the render this time I'll be a little bit quicker than the previous one because I do want to try out a lot of other stuff, and it is closing in to the point where I need to actually, unfortunately, leave again to prepare dinner for when my girlfriend comes home. Because I love her and she deserves a hot dinner when she's back. So... maybe, if you guys want, we can do a part 2 to this, where we either cook up some more designs, or try to paint a Sigmarite, like an Age of Sigmar character in action, like with the armor. Actually, why not just... Why don't we act as if the folded steel is a lot more foldable than we might think. And that he can actually move it a little bit better. Hang on. Let me get some more black on there. For like an intense shadow. Dwarf Fortress design? Or better, Discord design. So Stormcast with more realistic chest piece and a Grey Knight helmet. Ay. I think I'll just go with... Hang on. I want to give him a weapon. A weapon for demon slaying. If his armor was higher, I'd give him a different weapon, but... it is not, so... Just a thick executioner blade. There we go. To give it enough weight. And maybe like a spike on the other side. Like a pseudo halberd. Oops. Come on. Just like this. And for the blade, I just wanna do some stuff like this. Oh, the music is over, by the way. There we go. It resembles an old school Warhammer Fantasy Knight on foot. Yeah. That's where I also am struggling with my personal designs. Because I feel like most of everything has already been done. Oh, that looks ass. Well, anyways. So very concentrated work. I don't know if you would go for something that is supposed to be intimidating. This will just tell he's afraid to get hit. But German Landsknecht, that's intimidating. The thing is, I don't want to do the German Landsknecht, but I think because I think it's too far away from the Stormcast aesthetic that we still want to kind of preserve here. And I also think, again, it has a too well-known historical what's it called? Predecessor, I think. So that's... Because I thought about that as well. I think it's just too out there. Because the Stormcast Eternals are also, like, thought to be proper, you know... I think the reason they went with a little bit of a Greek approach in there, with a little bit of Greek sprinkled in their design, is because they're supposed to be mythical heroes, as they were in, like, ancient Greece, maybe. Alright. And one last thing to top it off. Just once again, some more ridges on here. Just for that instant highlight. Instant detail. There we go. Meh. Alright. This is our second approach. Let me quickly pull these together in one. So we've got this design now. And we've got this. So two rather different, but still from the same family, you know? How for the third design to go with more lightning-based aesthetic? Lightning-based aesthetic. Can't believe I'm using a wash. You're using a wash? Why? I mean, why can't you believe that? I think washes are great. I love using them. company needs to know if there's a difference between these two knights. No, these knights are identical. No, they're not. See, this one is, and this one, there's a difference. Oh my god, I think the task set maybe ruined it. Hang on. Didn't you use a wash for years, but chainmail? Yeah. Hang on. You're right. Maybe let's do this just closed task set. These knights are very different. At least now they are. Wow, that looks shit. Okay, hang on. We'll redesign his task set later. Go back. Okay. I meant the golden one on the left. Oh. Anyways. That's where I told you cataphracts. Okay, hang on. A little bit more ham, but style of a different approach than GW. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here, right? I think there's also a lot to go for. I was actually looking up some cataphracts now. We're talking about like ancient historical cataphracts, not the cataphract Terminator armor, right? Yeah, okay. I did remember them correctly then. I mean, that could also work. That could work, but is that still... Yeah, Byzantine. Yeah. No, I know what you meant. I'm just wondering if that's actually what we want to go for, because it's so early, right? Like, the cataphracts were outdated when the first knights were on the field. I think what I want to test out today. So, today I thought, okay, what do I want to do as, like, a redesign for these guys? What do I want to try that hasn't really been done before? And I think that would be what we're trying to do now. I want to give him a so-called Kasten Brustpanzer. So it basically looks like a low-res Tomb Raider chest, if you know what I mean. And it's again historically accurate. Actually, it's historically accurate. So I want to start off with that. So a very, square design. I'd actually give him the historically accurate book on here. Because now that I see it on a foot soldier, I'm actually not 100% sure anymore if this actually is used just for lances. And then we'll go down here. And that's roughly the design, right? When you take a cataphract, but a Milanese plate chest on the scale mail, you have a heavy bastard, and exchange the helmet for a bassinet, bam, win. I think you know what? I'll try that after this, because it actually does sound kinda nice. What did you guys want for a helmet again? I think Iluna sent me a sent me an email. Oh, helmet inspo. There we go. I can't open it now. A solid. Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. And you know what? Why not? Why not use more chainmail first? So we'll give him a very thick, rolled up chainmail like this. I'll actually sketch out like the whole thing. So roughly like this, right? The face would be roughly here. And then Tricky the Clown says, "What's up? What's up, man? How are you doing?" And then we put the visor down here. I'm struggling. Hang on. What? What am I doing? take this all away. So we've got, like, the face is supposed to sit here. And that's what we want to do, right? Put the chain down here. Up. There we go. Fallout power armor? I just woke up, says Tricky. Man. Either you're having an amazing holiday, or you're in a completely different time zone than I am. With these streams, I never know. Whoa! That was far too big. So, roughly like this. And then the helmet itself still wraps around down here. I'm in a different time zone? Oh, there we go. Fallout power armor? Fallout power armor? No. Does it look like that? No, I'm pretty sure it does not. And there we go, roughly like this, right? A little bit... it's very rough around the edges, goddamn. I think this needs to be a little bit lower. Whoops. More like that, yeah. Sure. Alright. Heavy chainmail. A nice custom Brustpanzer. And after that, what do we want to do for the pauldrons? Why not do one of the ornate pauldrons that... I'm watching the stream on my phone and TV. Phone and TV? God dang, man. So I'll actually do the ornate pauldron. Like roughly, right? So what would be there for Stormcast Eternal? Of course, the Hammer of Sigmar. Some lightning. In all directions, because why not? And then maybe some skulls. Yeah. TV for watching, phone for chatting? Hell yeah. Weapon idea? Plaisant? Plaisant? Now I'm intrigued. What you're telling me basically is that we definitely need a second run of this stream. No, that's pleasant. No. Did you write it the right way? Plaisant weapon. Or plaisant, maybe. Without the T. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that looks fucking cool. It basically looks like a Executioner Kriegsmesser. Okay. Is this base the chestplate on the Maximilian armor set? I'm actually not sure. Let me quickly look into my good book. Kastenbrust, 1450. So I'm not sure exactly when Maximilian was around. What do we do for the other side? The other side I think we can extend up here. Like a little bit more of a Klingenbrecher. Why not a little bit of a taller one? And then we'll do just a little bit more of a classic design. Hang on, like this. Keep the box chestplate? Oh yeah, for this design I'll definitely keep it. So Tricky, this is actually our third run. The other two were this guy here, very highly inspired by like jousting armor. And this guy also basically jousting armor but for a foot soldier. This time though I'll actually try to CA. Matt from Pressbook says, see you later. Alright man, have a nice evening. I won't stream for that much longer today, unfortunately, because I started a little bit late. So, you know. But glad to have you here again, to have had you here. Maybe like this, and then we'll take this. For the arm plate, I think I'll just go with what is already here. Not me? Oh, what? See you later and then not me? Oh, gotta fly again, shit! Okay, nobody, gotta fly, appointment at 8, take care. Alright, nobody, see ya then. Sorry, I didn't see that message. Right. I think the Kastenbrust definitely has something. Not quite sure if I 100% like it though. But it definitely makes for more of a unique design, right? Clenched fist again. And this time I'm gonna give him actual finger. No. Oh, why not do this? Like spiked hands. A little bit more of a more brutal look. So it's half fist, like till here, just like a rigid piece. And then we'll do the individual fingers. Little bit like, as you can see here, right? Yeah, the Kastenbrust is cool. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So we are finally cooking. Though that arm is a little too long. Spikes equals chaos? Nah, not always. And sometimes, you know, you have to embrace change. What do we want to do for the tassets, though? I see some great ideas. Why not more chainmail? We already worked with chainmail before, why not again? So that means we'll close off the Kastenbrust maybe here. And after that we'll do like, oh, we'll do a long chainmail skirt, like this. Yes. Maybe a ponytail, just an idea. By the way, you have to include a cloak. Ooh, that's also a good idea. You're sure about high elves? Seems more dark elves fitting with that spike theory. No. Yes, again, sometimes, you know, there's a reason why the high elves always lose. Or like oftentimes lose. I really hate the fact that they refuse to use like gunpowder. I somewhat understand it, but damn, dude. Alright, like this. And then some, you know, just hint at the armor. Oh, why not chain on chain? Would that go cool? Would that look good? Chain over chain, because of course the very early knights only had like chainmail armor, right? Ooh, hang on, no, Brigandine armor. So you've got like... So only the knee actually sits in armor. We're coming to... From a very high budget, we're now stooping down to a little bit of a lower budget. But that's okay, I think. You know, paint all of this like this. Same here. Hang on, that's not right. Same here. Yeah, just imagine there being armor. And then paint it like this. 2 chains. Lower budget, call them scouts. Ooh, that's a great idea. This would be like Sigmar's hunters or something. Should we still give them armored up feet? No. Chainmail feet. Hell yeah. Talking about feet, I don't know how many guys how many of you guys were around for our what's it called, Miniature of the Decade review. But it really bothered me that Tornus the Redeemed, the model, had feet. I didn't like that. I thought it would be so much cooler if he worked a lot more like Lady Olinda, maybe. So yeah, I've been just editing the shorts today. And we talked a lot about his feet, like dang. Brink OF art, am I right? I made it to the last one, but I watched the previous two. Oh, really? Yeah. I must say, as I'm editing the shorts for the Warhammer preview from last week, we were a lot more engaged in the Miniature of the Decade talking. Maybe that's because just, I'm just now reaching the AOS reveals. But yeah, for the 40k reveals and the Necromunda ones, we didn't do a lot of great commentary. Which is a little bit sad to see. Hang on, I'll actually give this one more golden bronze-ish Brigandine armor. Like this. I wish to be in a short one day. Alright. You just have to have some wacky commentary for me to include you. If a Chaos Warrior had to wear Crocs with a Chaos God, would he devote himself? Hang on, what? If a Chaos Warrior had to wear Crocs, which Chaos God would he devote himself to? Crocs? I think either... Ooh, actually, that depends. I think I'll make this Brigandine as well. I think it depends, because, for example, if you put your Crocs in sports mode, that could very well mean that you're a devotee of Khorne. But if you put your Crocs more of in a lazy mode, then maybe, Nurgle would approve of that as well. Otherwise... Yeah, I think either Nurgle or Khorne. Oh hell yeah! Now we are getting the the Landsknecht aesthetic, at least partially done as well. But I think this rocks. Actually, this is so far I think the coolest design we've come up with. I think I'll render this one out and then we'll see. So... there we go. Also makes my life a lot easier. Alright. Slanesh for the depravity, Khorne for the frustration, Nurgle for the disgust, or Tzeentch for the nonsense. Tzeentch for the nonsense, I like that. E+ song is a stick-like weapon that has bunches of spike in it. Use the bludgeon or spike people to a polar croissant. The stick-like weapon that has bunches of spikes in it. It autocorrects. Oh, right. Oh yeah, okay, that's why it read so weird. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I think that's cool. Alright, and then I wanna extend his... Whoops. I wanna extend his gauntlet to be like a proper... to be a little bit more proper. like this. So it goes all the way up here. Yeah, roughly like this. It autocorrects, I'm so sorry. No, don't be. That's completely fine. So from the side, it basically looks like this. So we have like an armored plate, we have some sort of funnel up here. And then we have, you know, the clenched fist. Cleansed fist of rage. Clenched fist, my god. Down here. Of course, with some spikes. Spiky knuckles. Oops, no, more like this. Yeah. Root beer mug armor? I actually don't know root beer that well, so I couldn't say. Is that how a root beer mug looks like? Alright. And the original Kastenbrust also has some, like, ridges like this, so... well. Which, funnily enough, is very much in theme with the Brigandine we went with. Huh. Who knows, maybe this combo is a lot cooler than I thought. So let's do this like this. To work on some shadow right away. Yeah, there we go. Trying to come up with an Bing AI model myself, but it has this seizure. How dare you use AI to try and do something, anything? How dare you? Oops, almost missed out on this party, says Vash. Hey man, how you doing? Unfortunately, I really didn't think this through enough. Maybe then I would have started sooner. Or tried to start sooner. This party is unfortunately almost over because, again, I want to make sure that my girlfriend has some nice dinner when she comes home. There we go, like ridges like this, right? And then like this. There we go. So, by the way, hang on, let me do a quick poll. Because I suck at drawing. Nah, man, you're probably good. You're good. You're way better than AI will ever be. So, let's just start a quick poll. Working like a dog, so not able to engage as much as usual. Hope you have a great dinner. Oh, thank you. And that's completely fine. Again, I just started a poll, so if you guys would like a second part where we complete the designs, maybe one where I'm maybe a little bit better prepared, so gather a little bit more resource material, like reference material beforehand. And of course, you know, we'll render out all of the designs to hopefully also end up with a nice portrait in the end. I think that would be quite cool. That stream would maybe be on Thursday, maybe on... not quite sure, maybe on... either on Thursday or Sunday, which could also mean Sunday this week. I'm just not 100% sure how well everything will work out. Again, I just want to render out some stuff right now. Alright. Alright. I think this, so far, is the coolest design we have done today. Oh yeah. It's very distinct from the usual Stormcast Eternal. But in my opinion, what I think is the coolest with this one is that this guy. So the Stormcast always have their focal point like on their chest plate, like the chest plate and of course their helmets. But this guy still has like the same thing going on. We've got like a chest plate which is very unordinary. Let's say that it's you know, something special. We've got a decorative pauldron over here and a helmet and lots of chainmail and the use of brigandine. Looks the best so far, needs only some Sigma insignia. Yeah, we kinda did that over here, but you know, it doesn't look like much anymore. Definitely need to render that one out. And yeah, apart from that, I really like what we did here. Of course, you know, comparing this to the other guys. So this is the one that we did right now. This is the one we did like our very first attempt at redesigning them, which he doesn't look that special. I think we could do more, but yeah, you know. And then we got this guy. I think this guy, as many people pointed out, he looks just like an old school kind of knight, you know, that you would see in like early tabletop editions. Definitely because of his wonky proportions as well, not gonna lie, and the weird axe. This guy was a solid attempt, also not quite the right thing, but this guy actually rocks. This guy is a proper knight. Gonna use the leaf blower while listening to the stream. I'm inspired to draw now? Hell yeah, man. Okay, how long have we been streaming? 1.5 hours. That's not long indeed. I feel very much fired up and I would love to continue. But I also need to make sure that my girlfriend has, like that I and my girlfriend and I have some food on the table. Because that's literally the one thing she asked me for. So, guys, I regret to inform you. Whoa, that's weird. Whoa, there we go. You have forgotten the cape? Oh yeah, we'll do the cape next time as well. My profane Christmas shirt right here. The cape heresy? Yeah, I mean. So one last look. I think this guy does look rather amazing. And hopefully I will see you guys maybe next week. And the Plaisante? Oh yeah, okay, I remember the... Hang on, I'll quickly write that down. So, don't mind me being upside down. Whoops. We want a... Hello? Why? Oh. We want a... Plaisant? Or Plaisant, I'm not sure. And we want a cape. Nah, let's leave the exclamation marks aside. Alright, 3 people voted for a second part next week. Bro, I'm Australia. Oh, so it's pleasant, right? Okay, pleasant? Alright, okay. Dang. Crazy to have you here in the stream. So many people from all over the world. Never ceases to amaze me. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining this stream. I really liked having you here. I really like doing these sketching streams. And I am very much looking forward to the next one. Alright guys. Take care now. If you have any more ideas, then let me know. Because you're upside down. Alright. Yeah, as Matt says it. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.